Hey everyone, this is Allie at OCI. Up next is Amber Dotson with HealthSherpa. Amber, take it away.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for attending today's What's New on the HealthSherpa platform webinar. Today's presentation has been prepared specifically for OCI and the downline agencies associated. However, we will be hosting similar presentations bi-weekly during October. So if you enjoyed today's discussion, please feel free to spread the word, share with other agents who may not have been able to join today. These are also available in Spanish, so links to register can be found in our monthly newsletter. My name is Amber Dotson, and I will be your host today. I'm OCI's agency account manager here at HealthSherpa, and I'm coming to you today from Atlanta, Georgia. So a little far from Nebraska, but kind of neighbors, right? So we'll get started. Our team has launched a ton of features and improvements this SEP, and we've done our best to organize them for you a bit just by category today. So we'll dive into some account changes, quota improvements, some shopping improvements. We've really made a few different things live for the application as well, so I want to focus your attention there. We'll recap a handful of our 2021 launches. There are some nice new account management features that we've implemented, some technical improvements, and then of course, hot on the presses, top of everybody's mind right now is plan your 2023 renewals. We will finish up by talking about some resources that you have available, and of course, open it up to Q&A. I do also want to promote our weekly agent platform trainings. Those are great for anyone who just might be newer to the platform, maybe needs a deep dive or a refresher. If you want to take a deep dive into those, or just do a platform training as a whole, those are for you. So I will show you where you can register for those in an upcoming platform training if you want to, but those are running weekly until OE. So definitely save yourself a seat to hang with us if you'd like. Again, I will show you where to find those registration links when we are done. I will also be sure to, when we talk about resources, provide you with the contact info for agent support at the end of our webinar today, and I'll show you where you can find those on your own also. So even if there are some questions that we don't get covered today in the Q&A, maybe you think of it later, whatever, you'll have all the tools that you need at your fingertips to get those answers that you need. So without further ado, let's get started with some improvements you'll notice within your account. You can now avoid duplicates in your client list. So we heard this request a lot from folks. So in the event that you search and claim a client, right? So you go up to start application or search marketplace buttons, you type in their stuff, their information, right? And you hit search marketplace. If they already appear in your clients tab, you're now going to get a little option in addition to add to clients that says view in dash. This will simply refresh all of the information for that existing application within your client list to make sure you have the most up-to-date information if that's what you're wanting to do. You still have the option to re-add them to your clients, but just know that that would create a duplicate. So now you have that workaround if you'd like. Bulk archive capability. So every year we actually use feedback that we get from agents and agencies to improve our product. And this improvement actually came directly from one of our agency's requests. So now agents can archive multiple clients or multiple leads at one time. If you're not familiar with archiving at all, I really encourage you to go to our FAQ page and just read up on what in the world it even is. Just type in the word archive. But it's really nice to help clean up your leads and clients tables to make sure you're looking at the most active customers that you can help service this OE. You can also now view more rows at once. So this will be available to you at the bottom of your clients table as well as your leads table. You can select up to 10, 20, or 50 rows to view at a time. One quick call out here is whenever you click on a different tab or refresh your page, it is going to go ahead and default back to 10 rows. It's not going to save your preferences, but this will be nice if you're just trying to view more folks at once. The documents column. So you might remember last year you had this cute little arrow chasing itself also on the documents column. You had to kind of click it anytime you wanted to refresh the document statuses for your customers. You don't have to do that anymore. Now you're actually going to see real-time due dates as well as statuses for your follow-up documents. And anytime you see these little up and down carrots at the top of the column headings, you can sort by those columns as well. Really related to this is the order in which it will sort by. So if you do sort that documents column, it's going to first sort by closest due date, and then it's going to filter within the due date to status. These are some of the statuses that you can see in that follow-up documents column. We have a full article linked in the presentation, which I will be sharing back with OCI, but you can also find it on our help page where you can actually view the definition for each of these statuses. So if you ever have questions, just pop onto our FAQ site and you can dig into those for you. But that should be very useful for you to help prioritize who may need follow-up sooner rather than later. This is not new, we just wanted to call your attention to it. So after you click on the verify button within a client's details card, you'll actually be taken to a page where you can upload the appropriate documentation for the specific item that you've clicked on. What's cool about that is it actually is a list, and it's a dynamic list of acceptable documents that you can submit to verify that specific item. So depending on the follow-up item you've selected, this list is going to change to give you the appropriate list of documentation. So just know that that lives there. You don't have to go hunting and fishing for it. It's all right there within your platform. We are going to dig into the renewals a little bit later in our presentation today, but you can now customize that bulk renewal email a bit more. Now you can edit the subject line. You can toggle that call to action button on or off. When we talk about the call to action button, what we're referring to there is whenever you go to send the renewal email, there's a little blue button that says, hey, click here to just renew online on your own. You can turn that off. We had a lot of agents say, hey, my practice, the way that I like to handle my business is to encourage them just to call me and we'll do it together. So if you want to turn that off, you can now. Reminder, you've always been able to edit the actual body of the email, so you can still do that as well. Okay, we're going to shift gears and talk about a couple of features that have been tweaked within the quoter. This is going to be a big one for you. So Medicaid and chip denial toggle. If your customer is just wanting to see all the plans available, right, before you actually do their subsidy application for them, and you go into the quoter, depending on the income and the household size and that kind of thing that you would enter in for your customer, we used to say, hey, some of these folks might just be eligible for Medicaid, and we take them off of your quote for you. Now you actually have the option to check a little box that says, no, please keep those people on this quote. Maybe perhaps they were already denied Medicaid or CHIP, or that they're not actually going to be eligible for whatever reason. So now you will have that flexibility. Okay, hopping into the shopping experience. This again is not new. We just wanted to really remind you that it exists. So on your dashboard, you have a little quote button up at the top that a lot of you might be familiar with. If you click on the little down caret there, you do have the ability to quote off exchange. Again, it is already live. This has been live, but it does expand the type of ACA plan that you're able to show your customers and enroll them in. You'll notice you can just change that toggle. Off exchange are not available in all states. So just keep that in mind. You might not see this drop down if you're not already licensed in the state that is offering off-ex. So don't panic if you don't see it. Okay, diving into some application improvements. The existing coverage question. So this has been a sticky question for folks for a while. So we were able to add a secondary clarifying question. Basically, the words currently enrolled, that was the sticking point, right? What does currently mean? I know it's ending. Does that matter? So now you're going to get a follow-up question that says, hey, is it going to end on or before? And it's going to default to 60 days out for you. So it's going to do the math to come up with this date. This will help you better answer that question. Dependents aging off of applications. This also used to be a bit cumbersome. It would it would require folks to kind of bop over to the marketplace and do, the whole double redirect process in order to do an application for a dependent who is simply aging off. You won't have to do that anymore. So now in situations where a newly independent member is aging off of an application and maybe just needs to create their own, what you'll do is prior to starting that new application, you'll remove them from their prior application, and then you'll be able to simply do a new app. That should be very beneficial for a lot of folks this year as well. Multiple enrollment groups. So I do want to give a quick moment here to just talk about multiple enrollment groups. Before we dive into these 3 updates, I do want to just remind you, this is only even available through the agent workflow. In other words, if a customer were to enroll via your marketing link, they're never even going to be able to access multiple enrollment groups. So they don't need to ever understand it to this level. So in order to shop for multiple enrollment groups, you do need to go ahead and complete the subsidy application first. Then you'll be able to get to this screen. If multiple enrollment groups are just new to you completely, totally okay. I just recommend checking out the help article that we have linked here once we send out the deck, and you can dig into it further. But the updates that have been made here is now you can actually choose to group applicants who have chosen the same plan or turn that off. This is designed to support the needs of agents in several different scenarios, such as if one applicant is American Indian or Alaska Native and perhaps the others are not. The American Indian Alaska Native recipient can retain those unique benefits, and that way the others can still get their own policy as well. And then when one applicant qualifies for cost share reduction, maybe the others do not. Or if an applicant just wants a separate deductible for whatever reason. So you, the agent, have a lot more flexibility to make sure that you're able to fulfill the needs of your customers. Okay, so as I mentioned, I know today's presentation is really focused on new product launches, but we did want to take a quick moment just to highlight some of our existing platform features that are not new. Also, just a quick recap for you as you ramp up for OE, these can be super beneficial. Referral flexibility on the appointments page. So this is only going to be visible if you're participating in the HealthSherpa referral program, this column on the right. But what I do want to really remind you of is every OE. If you haven't done it lately, go to your HealthSherpa account today, go up to the top right-hand side of your screen and you'll see a little gear icon, looks like a gear. If you click on that, you'll see a carriers menu. This is how you get to this page. So anytime you are newly licensed in a state or perhaps newly appointed with a carrier, you really want to come to this page and make sure all of your settings are accurate. Especially if you want to participate in the referral program, you want to come here and ensure all of your settings are correct. The other cool thing is an alphabetical sort. This is available on your clients table and your leads table. Again, we discussed anytime you see these little up and down carrots, you're going to be able to sort those columns. So just keep that in mind if that's ever beneficial. There's also a little search bar on the top right-hand side. You can see it in the image here. If you key in your customer's name there, it'll auto sort to show you customers that match that name. The prescription search is also just really nice to know about. Whenever you add your customers' medications, you're going to see the copay rates added to each of the plan cards that covers that medication. And you're also going to be able to see that from the plan comparison view. After you add medications, this feature is also going to allow you to just click the little checkbox next to the medication name you've entered, and the filter will adjust the sort view so that you only see plans where that medication is covered on the formulary. That's really beneficial if your customers, some customers just say, hey, I want to know if this medication is covered. It's a pretty inexpensive generic. It's not a deal breaker for me if it's not. Others, that medication is a deal breaker, right? So just know that flexibility is available to you. The provider search function works very similarly. The client email address is now optional. Please keep in mind that if you do not list an email address for your client, they are still going to get snail mail from healthcare.gov, and they're not going to be able to use self-service features through HealthSherpa, like uploading their own documents, right? Each customer, whenever they complete an application with you on HealthSherpa, they get an invitation to create a consumer dashboard. That all has your agent information linked to it, but it gives them a view of all of their own application information items. So they can upload their own follow-up documents, they can get their own 1095A forms, they can do all that good stuff. But if you leave the email address out, that won't be possible for them. Okay, we are in the final stretch now. So if you're getting sleepy, shake off your wiggles. We're almost there. This last bucket is going to really focus on features that helps you manage your ACA book of business. So best practices, many of you know, we have a really strong relationship with CMS. So we actually built out a policy team to better streamline communications, really just to help our agencies and agents plan and stay informed. So a couple quick things to keep on your radar this OE. Try and always include complete and accurate information on consumer applications. Their full name should really match their documentation. So if their social lists their middle name, include their middle name, that kind of thing. If they have a social, include it. Remember, if you leave stuff off of the application now, they may be asked for follow-up documents later to identify that item. So if you can include it, go ahead and do that. The email address, we just talked about that. It is optional, but if you can include it, it's going to streamline the process for them. And then race and ethnicity. So these are just two items that CMS is really focused on this year. They're really trying to focus on health equity. So if you can provide this information, or if your consumer would like to provide this information, go ahead and do that. Submitting follow-up documents in a timely manner. So data matching issues, or DMIs, or SEP verification issues, SVIs, right? So clients with DMIs and SVIs, they typically have a set amount of time to resolve the issue. Usually it's by way of providing documentation, right? In order for their policy or their subsidy eligibility to not be impacted. A DMI is typically going to occur in the following three situations. There's incorrect or missing information on the client's app, maybe it's their social, right? There's an inconsistency between the client's marketplace application or existing information from sources like the IRS, or perhaps there's just data missing from sources like the IRS altogether, right? An SVI is typically going to occur when a customer is applying for marketplace coverage via an SEP, or they're seeking an effective date other than the next available OEP effective date. They may be asked to provide documentation to confirm that SEP eligibility. Customers can end up with a combination of both of these, so it's just really important to know that action is needed when either of these take place. We've recently implemented some features to help you manage these a bit easier. We'll cover those in the next couple of slides, but best practice is just always really trying to keep a close watch for either of these items. Also, really encourage your customers to make a binder payment anytime they're asked to by the carrier. A lot of times it can get confusing if a customer has a $0 premium for their policy. Why in the world is the carrier asking me to make a binder? I don't have a premium payment. Sometimes carriers require or prefer a premium payment method to be on file. Primarily, this is to protect the consumer. If their subsidy eligibility changes during the year, if they have a payment method on file, they can go ahead and charge it, and the customer doesn't risk losing their coverage if they miss, the letter in the mail or the bill that they could easily toss thinking that it's junk mail, right? I know I don't have a premium, so why would I pay this carrier $1.50? So just keep that in mind. If a customer ever has a question about that, just refer them back to the carrier, and the carrier can advise them further on that. So we mentioned those DMIs and the SVIs. We recently implemented some of those features to help you manage these. This is one of them. So now every evening around 1 a.m. Eastern, you're going to get an email. I guess that's early morning, but you're going to get an email letting you know if there are any document status changes for your customer, for any of your customers. The email is going to look a little bit like this, right? It'll just have a little digestible table, but it's going to include any customers that have a status change that occurred that day. I do want to really highlight and bold that statement, because it doesn't mean that if I don't get this email, I don't have any customers with outstanding documents. It just means that if my customer is not listed on this table, they haven't had a document status change within the last day. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully this will help call your attention though to any updates and changes that have been going on within your account in the last 24 hours. Your consumers are also going to now get email notifications about their follow-up documents. They're going to receive these communications 15 days, 5 days, and 1 day before their follow-up deadline. They're going to receive this if they have a document status of action needed, meaning, hey man, you got to go submit something out there, or insufficient, meaning, hey, whatever it was that you submitted got rejected for whatever the reason might be. So they should get this little email notification. That way, when you reach out to them, they don't seem completely confused. Hopefully they know a little bit about what it is you're asking them to do. You also have client export report flexibility now. So now, anytime you click on the export, if that's something that your agency has set up for you, you'll be able to customize the date range so that you can actually get your export a bit faster. We do really encourage a shorter date range. Don't do all of your clients every time. This is going to lessen the load on the system and give you faster delivery of the information you're looking for. You also have some new columns in the export report. There is a full help article on exports that includes an export legend. So if you have any questions about what the export is, how to read it, or you just want an understanding of the definitions available in each of those columns, I really encourage you to go to the help page, click on exports, and just read all about it. But there are a couple of new columns that we've added, which are noted here. EDE sync timestamp, and then additional information about the MPN that's actually on the application. Hopefully that'll help you whenever you are resolving your books of business. Okay, digging into some of those technical changes. A new feature that we've launched is actually to expand the content within the error message that should you ever receive one, right? So the error message is now going to show you just a little bit about what went wrong to better assist you when troubleshooting. You can see in the example listed here, the phone number is too short. That's what this is telling me, or the street address can't be blank. Okay, no problem. That's something I, the agent, could easily go back and fix with my customer. Maybe we accidentally skipped that portion. Hopefully that'll help you proactively assist yourself a bit whenever troubleshooting. Remember, agent support is always available for you as well, so you can still reach out to them just as you normally would. There is a new CMS requirement that will require multi-factor authentication, or MFA, to be set up through your CMS portal. A lot of you may have already noticed this whenever you redid your FFM certification, or if you've logged into the CMS portal lately, or CMS Marketplace Learning Management System. But what it'll do is, and it's very similar to the ones you might have set up for maybe online banking or something. Whenever you go to log in now, it'll say, hey, prove that you're you. You can get a text. Sometimes there's an authenticator app you can use to just type in a code, and then you'll cruise through. So make sure, if you haven't already set this up, be sure and go to CMS's portal and get this set up for yourself so you don't run into any issues this year. Totally separate from that is another requirement that has gone into place. CMS is also requiring EDE partners like HealthSherpa to use an additional authentication within your HealthSherpa account for all agents and brokers starting on September 1. So if you have logged into your HealthSherpa account since September 1st, you've likely noticed a little pop-up menu that kind of haunts you around the website. It's asking you to integrate your FFM account. You'll click on this little blue button. It'll bop you over to the CMS portal. You'll log in over there, and then you're done. So it's very quick. It's very simple. This is separate from the multi-factor authentication that you're setting up on the CMS portal. So just know that this is also now required. Okay, hopping into renewals. We know that this is certainly top of mind this year, so you actually have several different paths available when renewing customers for plan year 2023. You can see each option listed out for you here. We'll dig into each of these just in a moment, but at a high level, you can send out renewal emails to your customers from your client dashboard. You can search the marketplace and create new applications for customers, and you can go directly into a renewal from the customer's client card. So let's walk through the view of each of these together now. The agent renewal email. So from your client's dashboard page, starting on November 1st, if you don't see this little button already, that's why. It won't turn on until November 1st. You, the agent, can actually prompt a renewal email to your customers. That's going to include very member-specific encoded information so that they can simply click on the link, right? If they choose to renew their plan online, if you've chosen to include that call to action toggle, they can click on the link. They'll walk through just a couple verify their identity steps, and then they can go ahead and view their dashboard where they can make all the updates that are needed, etc. Again, if you turn this call to action toggle off, you can simply customize the email body however you'd like, asking them to give you a call or whatever it is you'd like to say there. Option 2, you can search the marketplace. So for new or existing clients for you, you can actually go up to the top of your dashboard to start application or search marketplace to actually retrieve the member's application, an existing subsidy application, for example, or start a new application and then start the renewal process. You're going to typically see the crosswalked plan by default, but you can change that plan as appropriate. If you have any questions about a crosswalked plan, I would encourage you just to reach out to the carrier with questions about why or how those plans are chosen. But typically, I think it's just CMS tries to pop them into something as similar as possible if their plan is going away. Client profile renewal, this is your other option. So starting from your client list or the client's profile, you can click on the client's name or the little view button, and then you can just renew from there. You can either shop or apply for the subsidy plan first, or subsidy application first, whichever the customer would prefer. And then again, you're still going to default to see the crosswalked plan after you review a subsidy application, but you're still going to have the opportunity to adjust that for your customer if that would better suit their needs. Okay, so I am going to walk through the resources with you here live. So I'm going to pop out of this presentation and just into staging. So this is our staging account. This is completely made up information that you're looking at. There's no risk of breaching PII over here. So I just wanted to show you your dashboard when you log in. So up here on the right-hand side, your little gear icon, if you click on that, that's how we got to our carriers menu. So if you do need to make any updates there, if you click on the carriers menu, you can add states that you're licensed in. You can add states, carriers that you're appointed with, or referrals that you'd like to submit. If you click on support right here, this top one, you can actually get to all of the contact details about agent support, including the hours of operation. This is nice because typically during OE, we extend the hours of operation. We're still working to validate what those will be, so just stay tuned, but you can always access the contact info to agent support right here if you need. And then here, the little question mark with the circle around it, I'm gonna click on that menu. You can go to our What's New article, which will look oddly similar to today's presentation. It's just a running list of all the new updates that we've launched and released on our website. That's also great if you really get heads down during OE and you just want a quick recap of any new stuff that might have been launched in the past few weeks or whatever while you've been busy. You've got some getting started videos if that's useful. And then this is how you get to that help center we were talking about. I'll click on that next, but down below you can also email agent support from here or call them if you'd like. So clicking right here on the help center, this is the really nice way that you can just come and look up any agent resource that you need. So let's say I had a question about exports because I had no idea what we were talking about today. I could just type in the word export and look, a nice help article pops up. There's the export legend I can click on to learn more. If I wanted to join a full platform training, I can just type in the word training. Oh, nice, here's a full article. Do you offer any training? This is where I can come if I want to register for a platform training in English or in Spanish. So just know that you don't ever have to go hunting for these resources. These are always going to live right here for you on our platform. Okay, hopping out of this, and we will go right back into our presentation to finish up and move into Q&A. So we've covered those for you. Again, this slide will be shared with OCI, but it just has the contact info for agent support that we've already reviewed with you within your dashboard. And a lot of you may work with an agency that perhaps works with OCI. So if you work with a different agency, go ahead and work back with your agency admin to make sure that you're linked up to your correct agency appropriately. If you are an agency admin and you need to join your agency to OCI's downline, or perhaps you're an independent agent who needs to join OCI's downline, their join code, which you would enter in under your settings tab, is 43F as in Frank, the number 5. Again, it's 43F5. And this will be shared back with you. So if you ever have any questions, you could simply reach out to OCI. Okay, so that kind of wraps us up there. I will go ahead and post our help article, which includes those registration links in the chat for easy reference. But the other thing that I will post in the chat that's going to be really helpful for you is called our OEP prep guide. It just has a really nice little checklist that you can reference as you ramp up to ensure that you're good within your HealthSherpa account this enrollment season. So I will post those now, and then we will go ahead and open it up for Q&A. There's
Amber,
our
are you able to view the questions?
Yes, let me post these and then I'll just kind of take a moment to familiarize myself with any outstanding questions. Okay, one moment. Okay, so I think we started around Glory. Okay, will the aging off apply for Medicare turning 65 folks as well? So yeah, so if you can certainly remove any customer from a subsidy application prior to just renewing that app, this OE. So yeah, what you would do in that situation, if you have a customer that's aging off of an under 65 application, you would go into the subsidy app and simply remove them and then resubmit the application for the existing family members for next OE. And then your new person that is turning 65 would just go ahead and move over to Medicare to complete their Medicare applications. Glory, if that does not answer your question fully, let us know. Is HealthSherpa only available for those that qualify for subsidies? Shauna, great question. No, you can actually complete subsidy applications for consumers if you'd like, or if a consumer wants to shop off market and not do a subsidy application, they can do that if that's available in the state that you're licensed in and quoting within. But also, even if you've done the subsidy application for your consumer, even if they're found ineligible, you can still grab them an on-marketplace plan. They just wouldn't have subsidy dollars that go towards it if they're not eligible for them. Let's see, Asker, hold on. Some of these are hard to read, so bear with me while I familiarize myself with this one. Marketplace seems like they have been very picky on follow-up documents for newborns. What do you suggest is submitted? I sent a birth certificate and Marketplace asked for more proof. I would work back, Stephanie, within whatever the acceptable follow-up document list suggests for you there. A lot of times it asks for several pieces of documentation. Perhaps that's the issue. I don't have that list memorized, unfortunately. So I would encourage you to just reach out to agent support if you'd like a copy of that list. But I believe also if you just go to healthcare.gov and type in the word documentation, you can get a full list of the documents listed for you there. So perhaps just cruise through that. As long as it's on that list and you're submitting the right quantity of documents, you should be good to go. So I know that doesn't exactly answer your question, but I hope it steers you in the right direction. Let's see. For DMI requests, if we have submitted the request information and the deadline date appears to be stuck in a processing status, should we reach out to HealthSherpa or to the marketplace? The date typically doesn't get stuck. If it's processing, it would genuinely just be processing. You have a couple options that you could do here, Glory. So you could refresh the search and claim, right, for your customer. So go up to your search marketplace tab, research for them, and click on view and dash. That would refresh it more or less to see if you could auto just override that. If there's still any issue, I would have the customer reach out to the marketplace directly. We get all of our updates from the marketplace. Those are pushed over from CMS. So it's not, we wouldn't have any way to speed that up for you. Let's see. This next question is long, so bear with me while I read this. If you say that a client doesn't want their documents via email, they still get emails. I enter the email so that it is on the client's profile, but they don't want to get any emails from healthcare.gov, and I don't check the box to go paperless, and they still get multiple emails and duplicate emails from healthcare.gov. Lynette, great point. Unfortunately, that is just the current status. Usually, whenever you're at certain portions of a subsidy application, whether you're doing it on HealthSherpa or directly on healthcare.gov, there are auto-generated emails that are going to go out to a consumer from healthcare.gov. There's not a way to turn those off. The Nancy. Why does an individual have to start over so many times? Cannot remember password or what? Once they put in cart, have to proceed or have to start over? That question, I don't know that I fully understand the goal of the question. If you'd like to rephrase that question, I'd be happy to help you. But I don't know exactly how to answer that as it is written. Feel free to reach out to agent support as well if we run out of time or if you don't get to retype it before we're done. Does HealthSherpa have a cost to use? No, great question. We are a free platform. It is free for agents, agencies, and consumers, so you don't have any overhead to worry about. And the prices are the same too as they are on healthcare.gov or off exchange. We don't embed any of that in there either. It's not like the consumer is going to pay more for their policy or anything. Is a Pearl available? I don't understand that question, Peter, but if you'd like to rephrase it, I'd be happy to try and answer that for you. Okay, and I think that catches us up on the open questions. Okay. So if there are no additional questions, thank you. Thank you so much for attending today's HealthSherpa training. We really appreciate it. If there's anything that you need, please let us know. But yeah, thank you so much for choosing to use HealthSherpa as your ACA enrollment platform this OE. Happy selling.
All right, thanks, Amber. If any of you want to get set up with HealthSherpa, please send an email to individualsales@oci-services.com. Thanks, guys.